Welcome to my channel BBC Rare Coins. In this video, we uncover the most valuable and rare Lincoln pennies ever struck, revealing how these tiny copper coins have made a massive impact in the world of coin collecting. Top 1. What if I told you that a single penny, yes, just 1 cent, could be worth up to $68,000? It might sound unbelievable, but it's true. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in modern U.S. history, the 1995 Lincoln 1-cent penny. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American pockets since 1909, introduced to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and over the decades, it's undergone multiple design changes and minting updates. But in 1995, something unusual happened, something that made a handful of these ordinary-looking pennies extraordinary. In 1995, at the Philadelphia Mint, a small batch of pennies was struck with a minting error known as a double die. It's one of the most well-known types of minting mistakes, and one that collectors go crazy for. Here's how it happens. During the minting process, the coin's design is stamped onto the blank metal disc. If the die, which carries the image, shifts slightly between impressions, it can create a ghost-like doubling effect. And that's exactly what happened on some 1995 pennies. The most obvious doubling appears in the word liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," on the head side of the coin. If you look closely, you'll see the letters appear to have shadows or duplicates. It's subtle, but unmistakable to a trained eye. This wasn't just a random fluke, it was a collectible miracle. Soon after its release, the error was discovered by sharp-eyed collectors and spread rapidly through the numismatic community. What had once been seen as just another penny suddenly became a high-demand item. Word got out, and people began checking their pocket change, coin jars, and dresser drawers in hopes of striking copper gold. Coin dealers, grading services, and auction houses started documenting the 1995 double die cent, and prices began to climb. At first, it was a few $100s. Then thousands. And today, in pristine, mint-state condition, especially if professionally graded at the highest levels, this small copper coin has been valued at up to $68,000. Yes, $68,000 for a penny you might have ignored. So, what exactly makes one 1995 penny worth just 1 cent, and another worth a small fortune? It all comes down to grade, condition, and authenticity. If your 1995 penny is worn, scratched, or has lost its luster, it likely won't fetch much. But if it's in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state 67 or higher, and the doubling is strong and clear, you're looking at serious value. Third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC are essential for verifying the coin's quality and assigning a grade that helps set its market price. And in rare cases, one of these coins has reached that golden $68,000 figure at auction, due to its impeccable preservation and strong doubling. So how do you know if you've got one? Start by checking the date, 1995. No mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. Then, grab a magnifying glass. Look closely at the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. The doubling should be clean and visible, not just a blur, but distinct layering of the letters. And here's a tip: if you think you found one, don't try to clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value. Instead, handle it gently by the edges and get it evaluated by a reputable grading service. You never know, you might be holding onto a coin worth more than a brand new car. The 1995 double die penny isn't just a collector's item, it's a reminder that history, value, and mystery can all hide in the smallest, most unassuming places. It's a story of a mistake that turned into a treasure, of attention to detail being rewarded, and of how something as ordinary as a penny can carry extraordinary worth. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who just enjoys the thrill of a good treasure hunt, the 1995 Lincoln cent is a coin to watch for, a little copper coin that could change your life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare US coins, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've ever found something rare in your change. Until next time, keep your eyes open, and happy hunting. Top 2. What if the penny sitting in your change jar, the one you barely notice, is actually worth $72,000? Sounds impossible, right? But it's not. In fact, one specific version of the 1988 Lincoln 1-cent penny has reached that incredible value, and it's all because of a tiny detail most people would never even see. Let's talk about the 1988 Lincoln cent. At first glance, it looks like any other penny. Same copper color, same portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, same Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing special. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Because in 1988, something slipped through the minting process that changed everything. To understand what makes this coin valuable, you first need to understand how coins are made. When a coin is struck, it's pressed using two dies, one for the front, one for the back. These dies are created using special design hubs. Now, the front of the penny, the obverse, features Lincoln's portrait and a tiny letter beneath the date, FG, the initials of the coin's designer, Frank Gasparo. Here's where the magic happens. In some 1988 pennies, a design element that shouldn't have been there was a reverse die from an earlier year, specifically from 1989, was accidentally used on some 1988 coins. That may sound minor, but to collectors, this is huge. What you get is a transitional design error, a 1988 penny with the reverse details of a 1989 coin. And it's rare. Very rare. The biggest clue. It's in those tiny initials on the back, FG. On a normal 1988 cent, the initials are bold and separated from the Lincoln Memorial. But on this rare version, the initials are thinner, closer to the building, and match the style introduced in 1989. This is what's known as the 1988 reverse of 1989 penny. It's a coin that shouldn't exist. But it does. At the time, very few people noticed. These coins went into circulation just like any other. For years, they passed through vending machines, cash registers, and piggy banks unnoticed. But when collectors began discovering the difference, interest exploded. Gradually, the 1988 penny with the wrong reverse became one of the most sought-after modern Lincoln cents. It was no longer just a penny, it was a mistake turned treasure, and now, in mint-state condition, this small error has transformed into a coin worth as much as $72,000. You heard that right. $72,000 for a single penny. Of course, not every 1988 penny is worth a fortune. Most are worth 1 cent, as expected. The key is condition, rarity, and verification. If your 1988 penny shows that rare 1989 reverse and it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially if graded by a trusted third-party service like PCGS or NGC, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors pay big money for coins that are not only rare, but well-preserved. The top examples of this coin are graded mint state 67 or higher, meaning the coin is practically flawless, with full luster and no visible wear. So how can you tell if you've got one? Start by flipping over any 1988 penny you find. Take a close look, really close, at the initials FG on the reverse. If they look thinner than usual and are tucked up close to the Lincoln Memorial, you may have a 1988 reverse of 1989 cent. A magnifying glass helps. Better yet, use a jeweler's loupe or digital microscope. If you suspect you've found one, don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning coins damages their surfaces and slashes their value instantly. Instead, store it safely, preferably in a protective flip, and send it to a reputable grading service for authentication. And here's the best part, these coins are still out there. Not in museums or private vaults, but in circulation. In your pocket. In old jars. In forgotten rolls of pennies at the bank. One small discovery could turn spare change into a small fortune. The 1988 Lincoln penny with the 1989 reverse is more than just a coin, it's a story of a quiet error, an unnoticed detail, and the massive value that comes from being in the right place at the right time. It reminds us that even the smallest things can hold hidden power. That history, luck, and a bit of curiosity can turn an ordinary penny into something extraordinary. So keep your eyes open. Because somewhere out there, that $72,000 penny might still be waiting for you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you've ever searched through your change and found something amazing. You never know, your next penny might just be priceless. Top 3. There's a very real 1983 Lincoln cent that has earned legendary status among coin experts, and its story starts with a simple mistake at the US Mint. Let's rewind a bit. In 1982, the US Mint made a major change to the penny. For decades, the Lincoln cent had been made mostly of copper. But rising copper prices forced the mint to find a cheaper metal. So, starting mid-1982, pennies were switched from solid copper to a copper-plated zinc core. That change would lay the foundation for one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents ever struck, the 1983 copper penny. Now, here's the twist. By 1983, all Lincoln cents were supposed to be made of zinc. The mint had completed the transition. That was the plan. But as with many things in minting history, not everything went according to plan. Somehow, a small number of 1983 Lincoln pennies were struck using the old copper planchets, the solid copper blanks that should have been phased out the year before. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was a genuine mint error. A rare, beautiful, expensive mistake, and because of that, a normal-looking 1983 penny, something most of us would pass over without a second glance, can actually be worth up to $53,000. But how do you know if you've got one? That's where things get interesting. The first thing to understand is weight. Copper and zinc pennies look almost identical, but they don't weigh the same. A copper penny weighs 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny is noticeably lighter, at 2.5 grams. That tiny difference is the key. If you have a 1983 penny and it weighs 3.11 grams, you just might be holding one of the rarest pennies ever made. Collectors have been on the hunt for this coin for years. Only a handful have ever been found. And those that have been authenticated and graded in mint state condition, meaning they're sharp, clean, and uncirculated, have fetched up to $53,000 at auction. Think about that for a second. $53,000 for a penny. And what's even crazier, these coins didn't go straight into private collections or special edition coin sets. They were released into everyday circulation. That means they were mixed into bank rolls, handed out at grocery stores, dropped into piggy banks, forgotten in drawers, just like every other penny. That means there could still be more out there. Maybe even one sitting in your house right now. To check, all you need is a 1983 penny and a digital scale that measures to 2 decimal places. Weigh it carefully. If it hits 3.11 grams, don't get too excited just yet, but definitely don't spend it. You'll want to send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. If it's real, and especially if it's in mint condition, your 1-cent coin could suddenly be worth tens of thousands. Now, here's something else that makes this penny so valuable. It wasn't just a mint error, it was a transition error, created during a shift from one metal composition to another. These types of coins are some of the most prized among collectors because they represent a moment in history where human error and industrial change collided. They're rare, they're important, and they tell a story that no ordinary coin can. The 1983 copper penny is one of those mysterious treasures that keeps coin hunters up at night. It's proof that the world of US coinage is full of surprises. And it's a perfect example of how something so small and overlooked can carry a value most of us would never expect. So the next time you get change from the store, or open a dusty old coin jar, or roll up a stack of pennies to take to the bank, look carefully. One of them might weigh a little more. One of them might be different. One of them might be worth $53,000. This is more than just a coin. It's a piece of modern treasure. A fluke of the mint. A forgotten piece of history that could change someone's life, maybe even yours. Top 4. A 1-cent coin. And not just any penny, a 1993 Lincoln cent, the kind you've probably seen hundreds of times without a second thought. But buried among the billions made that year, there's a version of this coin so rare, so unusual, that it's been valued at $64,000. Let that sink in, $64,000 for a single penny. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes a 1993 penny so special? Why would someone pay tens of thousands of dollars for something most people drop in parking lots and ignore on sidewalks? Well, The answer lies in a very specific mint error, a mistake so small, so subtle, that only the sharpest collectors ever catch it. But once they do, it changes everything. In 1993, the US Mint was in full production mode. Millions of pennies were being struck daily. The Lincoln cent had featured the same obverse, Lincoln's portrait, since 1909, and the reverse design had shown the Lincoln Memorial since 1959. But in the midst of all that routine minting, a few coins didn't come out quite right. Among the regular 1993 cents, a few were struck with what's known as a rare die variety, a minting anomaly involving either doubling of the design, off-center strikes, or the use of mismatched die combinations. These mistakes are incredibly uncommon, but when they do occur, they create coins that are totally unique. In one of the most famous 1993 errors, a coin was discovered with a double die obverse, meaning the design elements on the front of the coin were struck twice, ever so slightly offset. The result? Letters that look like they have a faint shadow. Words like liberty and in God we trust appear to be doubled, as if printed with a ghost image behind them. And when this kind of error appears on a coin in near-perfect condition, the value skyrockets. Collectors go wild for this kind of error. Why? Because it's not just a coin, it's a mistake that got through one of the most secure, precise, and professional manufacturing systems in the country. It's like finding a typo in $1 million contract. And the fewer there are, the more valuable they become. Now let's talk numbers. A regular 1993 penny is worth, well, 1 cent. Maybe a few bucks if it's in pristine condition. But a 1993 penny with this rare doubling, combined with a flawless or nearly flawless condition, graded at mint state 67 or higher, has sold for as much as $64,000 at auction. That's the kind of life-changing coin that doesn't sit in a museum. It might still be in a coin roll at the bank, or sitting in your kitchen drawer, or resting at the bottom of a coin jar, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and a little curiosity to notice it. So how do you find one? First, pull out any 1993 pennies you come across. Look carefully at the obverse. You'll want a magnifying glass or even a jeweler's loupe. Check the lettering, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. If you see even the faintest sign of doubling, extra lines on the letters, or a shadow-like outline, you could be looking at a double die, and it doesn't stop there. Some rare 1993 Lincoln cents have also shown other unusual features, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins that were accidentally struck on foreign planchets, blanks intended for coins of other denominations or even other countries. These kinds of errors are freakishly rare but highly prized by collectors. One example of a 1993 penny struck on a foreign planchet was so lightweight and oddly colored that it confused the original finder. But once authenticated and graded, it became a 5-figure coin, adding to the legend of the 1993 Lincoln cent. Of course, condition is everything. A coin that's been circulating, scratched, or worn down will never reach its full value. The rarest and most valuable examples are those that were either never released into circulation or somehow survived untouched. That's why grading is so important. A certified coin from PCGS or NGC that earns a top-tier mint state grade is what drives prices into the tens of thousands, and in the rarest cases, all the way to $64,000. Imagine finding one of those. A tiny piece of copper and zinc that turns out to be more valuable than gold, just because it was struck slightly wrong. That's the beauty of coin collecting. That's the magic of numismatics. You never know when a mistake becomes a treasure. You never know when the next coin you pick up will be the one everyone's been searching for. And sometimes, it's not the century-old coin or the gold piece that holds the most value, it's the everyday penny from a year like 1993. So keep looking. Keep searching through those rolls. Check your change. Check your old jars and boxes. Because one small discovery could lead to a $64,000 surprise hiding in plain sight. Top 5. What if the most ordinary coin in your pocket, a plain old penny from 1973, was actually a hidden treasure? Imagine flipping through some spare change and realizing you're holding a 1-cent coin that could be worth $76,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But the truth is, Among the billions of Lincoln cents minted in 1973, there's a rare version that has captured the attention of collectors everywhere, and its value has soared to jaw-dropping levels. Let's take a journey back to 1973. The Vietnam War was still ongoing. The Watergate scandal was unraveling. Gas was 40 cents a gallon. And while all of that was happening, the US Mint was quietly producing billions of Lincoln cents, specifically, over 5.5 billion from the Philadelphia Mint, over 3.7 billion from the Denver Mint, and about 384 million from San Francisco, mostly as proof coins. On the surface, these coins looked just like the ones before and after them: Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and that familiar coppery shine. But among those billions, a few slipped through the cracks. Coins that weren't quite right. Coins that weren't supposed to exist. And those are the ones collectors now hunt for, coins that have been valued as high as $76,000. One of the most valuable types of 1973 Lincoln cents is the one struck on the wrong planchet. During production, the Mint occasionally makes errors where a penny is accidentally struck on a blank meant for another denomination, like a dime or even a foreign coin. Imagine a penny-sized coin that's thinner, lighter, silver in color, and has a sharp, clean stripe. That's the kind of error that makes collectors stop in their tracks. And then there's the 1973 doubled die obverse, a striking error where the die used to press the image shifted slightly between strikes, causing the letters and numbers on the front of the coin to appear doubled. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" seem to have faint shadows or ghost-like outlines. This type of mint error is one of the most coveted in numismatics, and when it happens on a coin as widely produced as the 1973 Lincoln cent, it becomes a treasure hunt. Here's why it matters. The 1973 Lincoln cent is usually made from 95% copper and weighs about 3.11 grams. If your 1973 penny has any abnormalities in weight, thickness, color, or design, it's worth a second look. Sometimes these rare errors occur when a leftover blank from another year or denomination ends up in the wrong press. Other times, it's simply a mechanical mistake that no one caught until someone like you finds it in circulation. Let's talk condition. It's no secret that the better condition a coin is in, the more valuable it can be. But with rare coins like the 1973 doubled die or wrong planchet error, condition can multiply the value dramatically. A well-worn example might bring in a few hundred or a few $1,000s, but a pristine, mid-state coin with full luster and no visible wear. That's where we're talking up to $76,000. Grading is everything. Coins that are authenticated and graded by major services like PCGS or NGC can command huge premiums. A 1973 Lincoln cent with a major error and a grade of MS-66 or higher becomes not just a rare find, but a once-in-a-lifetime investment. And here's the most exciting part: these coins weren't made for collectors. They weren't released in special sets. They were accidentally struck during the regular minting process and slipped into everyday circulation. That means they could still be out there, sitting in jars, hidden in dresser drawers, buried in old penny rolls at your local bank. So how do you find one? Start by checking every 1973 penny you come across. Look closely at the front of the coin. Use a magnifier or jeweler's loupe to examine the lettering and numbers. Does anything look doubled? Do the edges look slightly off? Does the color seem unusual, lighter, silver-toned, or thinner than a regular penny? Weigh the coin on a digital scale. A normal 1973 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. Anything significantly lighter could point to a wrong planchet, and whatever you do, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can instantly destroy its collector value. If you think you've found something rare, handle it carefully by the edges and get it checked by a professional. The 1973 Lincoln cent proves a powerful point: value doesn't always come in flashy packaging. Sometimes, the rarest, most sought-after treasures come in the form of a humble penny, hiding in plain sight. It's not just about money, it's about mystery. About history. About the thrill of discovering that something ordinary might actually be extraordinary. So keep looking. Keep hunting. Because the next time you pick up a penny, it could be the one. The rare 1973 Lincoln cent. The $76,000 mistake that could change your life. Thanks for watching. If this video sparked your curiosity, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and leave a comment below if you've ever found something unusual in your change. Until next time, good luck and happy hunting.